we finally left Texas, and our first stop is boondocking in Moab.
That's right. We absolutely love Moab. We were here in 2020, I want to say, in our Sprinter van, and this place was absolutely magical. It was when we very first started boondocking, and we got a good feel for how to do it. We had another one of those long 2-day, 1,000-mile road trips, leaving Texas and heading straight here to Moab. We were battling against the weather because it's late October and pretty soon it's gonna be cold here. So we got in late last night. We were racing against the clock because the sun sets about 6:30, and that's exactly when we rolled into this spot. But we weren't too worried because we'd been here before.
Last time it was under BLM land called Willow Springs, and now it's in a transition to be an official state park called Utah Raptor. And it's still cheap though, it's $15 per night. And with that $15, you get dumpsters, you get trash service through that, and then like a gazillion porta potties, which is super nice for people that are in tents or just working with small tank spaces. And a really great thing about this location is it's super close to Arches. Arches is literally in the distance. It's about a 12-minute drive from here and a 20-minute drive from downtown Moab, which is exactly where we're gonna go today, to all of those places. Aaron mentioned we got in late last night. We broke one of our cardinal rules, coming in at dark. And so we did go on a little walk last night, had dinner, went straight to bed. And then this morning we got to enjoy a nice 5-mile walk / hike right here with the sunrise. And it was absolutely beautiful. Since we are like basically in the national park right now, the walk was phenomenal. On our walk this morning, we got to do the sightseeing of not only the beautiful nature, but also all of the rigs that are here, which is always fun to see who gets in here, who camps here, and just the variety of people. And there is no shortage of variety here. There's tons of tents, there's tons of vans, there's lots of travel trailers, there's even big fifth wheels. So there's no shortage of different styles.
And we saw an earth roamer.
We saw a really cool earth roamer, even just around us. Like once you start walking off trail in the back, there are so many rigs like deep down in there. And if you were to just make a guess, I think you'd be really under the number of how many people are actually camped here at any given time. One of the things we saw this morning on our walk was a sign for dinosaur tracks. And at about 8 a.m., we actually saw excursion vehicles rolling in. We probably saw about 5 to 7 of them going straight towards the dinosaur tracks. And it's a short hike once you're out there. So we're gonna take the truck and we're gonna go do some exploring and see if we can find any dinosaur tracks on our own.
One thing I just got completed was the mounts for our new outdoor cameras. Those are Blink. You guys know I've had Wise cameras before and we still have 2 of those on the inside, but I found this 5-pack of Blink cameras and I attached them up, 2 on the passenger side here, patio, and then 2 on the driver's side. And I like them so far. They're not the best of quality, but they are battery operated, they are wireless, and they do work pretty good. You can view them remotely when we're gone on the trailer. So that's one thing that we're experimenting with a little bit right now. We still use the Wise cameras on the inside, especially for the Louie cam when we leave him home. Today, Louie gets to come with us on all the adventures. We're not gonna leave you. Yeah. Good boy, Louie. Louie, let's go. Up, up, up. Good boy. Good boy. Let's go. Go for a ride. All right, here we go. Are you ready?
Yes.
One of the great things about boondocking outside of these national parks is enjoying all of the little areas around it. Like there's so much stuff to do. And like these dinosaur tracks are a perfect example of something that's right down the road that I remember last time we were here, we wasted half a day trying to find dinosaur tracks.
Yeah, we drove further out and we did find them.
It was pretty cool.
But we didn't need to go that far because we actually slept right here. But the difference is we didn't have our truck. So by the time we walked all the way down to the trail entrance, we were a little bit gassed out.
There are dinosaur tracks all over, I think, the Moab area, and another boondocking spot just up the road is where they were at, but it takes like a half an hour to get down the washboardy road.
So our plan today, we're gonna do the dinosaur tracks, we're gonna go into Moab, walk around, find a little patio lunch, and after that, we're gonna try to drive into Arches, and then after that, we're gonna come back here and catch a sunset.
Yeah, we're gonna have an action-packed day today, and it's gonna be pretty fun. There's so much stuff to do in Moab. I think we're gonna spend maybe 5 days here. We're up against the weather right now, and it's getting colder and colder. Right now it's highs of 70s, lows of 40s, which is cold, but pretty good. And then at the end of this weekend, it's gonna cool down and be like highs of 50s or 60s, and lows in the 20s and 30s. And that's pretty cool. Dinosaur tracks! Louis, dinosaur tracks. Minute drive down the road, and here's that sign we saw this morning, dinosaur tracks. We saw a lot of mountain bikers heading out here this morning, so I'm sure there's some epic riding. Actually, a lot of mountain biking in Moab area.
All sorts of adventures to be had here. And I think this year we are considering renting something to go do something fun, but with the short window, I don't know, it might put us out.
Yeah, and we drive something fun, so the truck is pretty good to get to a lot of places, but it's not the same as having a Jeep or like a side-by-side.
That's true.
And right on cue, somebody in a 4Runner thought they'd go in a little mud pit and cruise right out the other side, but nope. No go, they're stuck. We were gonna help them, but their friends showed up right away.
We were excited for some adventure.
Now we're coming up to the real entrance of the dinosaur tracks. Kind of a fun little bit of the road.
Yeah, perfect little bit of off-road level for me because I'm not an off-roader.
Yeah, when we go off-roading, I'll take the wheel because I like it.
Hey, half the reason I go so slow is because I have a passenger driver telling me to go slow. We made it in, and we still see people with expedition vehicles rolling in, so we know we're on the right track, and we're just a short distance behind them, so we're gonna head up that way. We at least know that we'll be pointed in the right direction, and then after that we might be on our own to hunt down some tracks.
Yeah, I think it's just a short 1 mile loop, and I'm excited. I love this stuff. Let's go, Lou. Dinosaurs. Come on. Let's go.
Activated.
Let's go.
Also, 0 cell service out here, so
Oh, I didn't notice
it's an
that.
SOS zone right now, so don't plan on using any all trails or map things or talking to people. Cell phones are strictly for picture taking out here.
Should have brought our Starlink.
Yeah. Okay, we found our first set of tracks. They go like this. Come on, Lee. Come on, Lee. They're about 3 feet apart. And then up here, they get further and they start running. And this one here is a really great imprint because of the weight that fell into it. But I overheard one of the guides saying that
We always get the free info.
we get the free info. These tracks, you can tell by the distance of their walking what their hip distance and what their height is. And this dinosaur was 12 feet tall. That's all I got. I overheard one of the parties in one of these NavDoc expeditions. They each have a guide that's driving, and they each have their guide telling them about all of the stuff that we're seeing. And one of the customers asked their guide if all of these vehicles are doing the same tour, and the guide's answer was very interesting. He said, well, that depends on what you want to do today. We have a few options which we can talk about. And then they walked away, so I lost my info. But it seems like a cool little expedition where you can
They can kind of free form, do whatever they want.
yeah, plan your own adventure.
Sounds fun.
Yeah, so if you don't have a vehicle that can take you out here, or if you just want somebody who actually knows what they're talking about versus us who we're just like exploring and like putting things together for fun.
Well, how cool is that our RV is just, 2 miles right there. You can almost see it. And, 6 months ago it was free to camp here for 2 weeks, and now it's $15 a night, but still pretty cool.
It's super awesome. Yeah. Louie, good boy.
Let's go, Lou. Come on.
Good boy, Louie.
Let's go. Well, we didn't find any more dinosaur tracks, but all of a sudden, half mile up the road is like a back entrance to Arches, which is unusual.
We knew it was right in our backyard, but we didn't know that we would be able to enter it this way.
Yeah, and what's goofy is the park that you drive to is that way, and all the hikes and arches and stuff are all over there. But this direction, I don't know what's over here. Pretty cool.
Yeah, we'll have to look at the maps when we get in there and get a map.
Yeah, we'll have to check it out, but I'm getting kind of hungry. Are you getting hungry?
Uh-huh.
I think it's time to head to Moab and see what's in town. Louie. All types of off-road vehicles. What a beautiful little area. I think this is just amazing. I honestly can't say enough like how cool the areas around the national parks are. Like not even going into the national park, and there's all this free stuff that's just super beautiful.
Yeah, awesome. 10 out of 10.
Although I do want to get into the park.
I'm excited to go back into Moab. When we drove through last night, we could tell that the energy here is so much different than it was in 2020, because when
I forgot it was May of 2020.
When we were here in May of 2020, it was literally when the park was shut down and the city was shut down with COVID, and we were waiting here, camping out, waiting for it to open. And that's what we did. But the point is, the city was very eerily quiet.
Yes, so we didn't get to see Moab in its full glory.
And just driving through it last night, I could feel it. I was like, yes, it's gonna be a totally different experience this time.
Yep. So we may go to the Moab Brewery and just have one beer, just to, see what Moab does in their beer making skills. And then we're gonna find a good place to eat and a nice patio. I would say this area is semi-private out here. It's not the most private boondocking you'll find, but we're in such a populated area that I don't really mind it. Like, I'm not here to be out in the absolute...
Or can you expect it?
Yeah. I mean, and if you, don't get me wrong, if you have a truck or a tent or a van or something, you can go all the way back here and find some really epic spots. But when we came in at dark, we saw this spot with a beautiful view off our patio, and we took it.
And it looked nice and level.
Yeah. I'm starting to see a lot of Starlink dishes on top of rigs out here as well. Thankfully, our Verizon is working pretty good on the Insti Connect, so we don't have any worries, but Lots of horizons out here. So 14 miles, 17 minutes to the brewery, and not a bad spot from our camp.
Super close.
What a beautiful backdrop for a brewery.
Yeah, I think that they're gonna have a little courtyard in the back. I don't know, but I'm guessing. And I think it's gonna be awesome. Stay. Stay.
Where are we? What are we doing right now?
Stay. Stay.
I smell food.
Stay. He's hot, like he just woke up.
Yeah, he was
Okay. Good point. I got you, don't worry.
climbs right up on you.
He does that every time. Does he not do that to you?
Yeah, well, he had his back beat on you.
Oh, it's a new state for him.
Yeah, Utah is.
I have to check. I have a list, but I think this is his 22nd state. He's 10 months old. It's so cute.
I need a Moab sticker.
Hi.
For two?
There's two with a dog. We've got the whole place to ourselves almost.
Yeah, beautiful.
So they are not doing outside seating right now, but we got inside seating right on this big giant window so we can watch. We actually have a really good view right here.
And they let Louie inside. That's so nice.
A lot of places are dog friendly, even on the inside. I'm surprised though, because a lot of restaurants or places that serve food are a little bit more limited due to health codes, but you got the green light here, so that's all that matters.
All right, this sounds good.
Yeah, we're probably gonna eat here, huh?
We're too hungry. It's
We're too hungry.
like 2:30. We haven't ate for a while.
The food's been dropped. It actually smells really good. So I think that I might have been over worrying. I see lots of good salsa. Aaron's salad looks really good. And we're gonna dig in. I'm starving. I think part of my problem.
Take one bite.
What?
Yeah. See. They double up the shells.
These actually feel like homemade tortillas.
Yeah, those look good. It smells good. So after lunch, we decided to walk around a little bit and take Louie on the downtown area and just kind of soak in the whole Moab vibe and really just kind of check out the entire downtown. Moab really does have a great vibe, and there's lots of little restaurants and shops and different little places to walk around. It was pretty enjoyable. We ended up going to Arches National Park on a different day during our stay, and we really just ended up driving through the whole park instead of hiking. Louie wasn't feeling very well that day, and we didn't want to leave him at home. So he got to kind of ride along with us, and we just basically went to the different trailheads that you could park at and just kind of see the views from the vehicle. But we do recommend getting out and hiking Arches National Park. It really is a cool area, and we do have a video of an 8-mile hike we did back in 2020 called The Devil's Garden. We haven't seen that video for a while. We might have to actually watch it ourselves.
We might have to dust off the cobwebs and give that one a spin. We really did intend to go on, for sure we wanted to see Delicate Arch, and we did really want to even re-hike that big hike that we did, but the circumstances just got away from us and decided that the drive-through would suffice.
But Louie did get some hiking in before we left, and we finally went to Dead Horse Point State Park, which has been recommended to us numerous times, and it did not disappoint.
And we were super excited to go somewhere brand new to us. So it's always fun to go places that you've been, but it's even more fun to go places that you've never been and to soak in those brand new experiences. And it was really cool. And the state park was beautiful.
We found out that all Utah state parks are dog friendly, so that was a big plus for us, so we could actually bring Louie. And if you've never been to Dead Horse Point State Park, it's kind of difficult to describe because it's extremely beautiful. It's kind of similar to Canyonlands because it's really not that far from Canyonlands National Park. I think it's just 5 or 10 miles away. And it was only a 30-minute drive from our campsite outside of Moab. So very easy to get to. And the views were absolutely stunning of the Colorado River and the desert plateau and canyons all around.
Yeah, it was really beautiful. It was definitely worth the $20 entrance fee.
Oh, I forgot about that. That's why we didn't go back in 2020. We were being cheap again. And this time we're like, we're definitely going.
Yeah, it was worth it.
They have campsites in that state park as well. But what we really wanted to do was the rim hike, which was about 7 miles. And it just basically hikes around the entire rim. And it just has these beautiful views the entire time.
And the main attraction on that hike is Dead Horse Point. It was definitely the most rewarding point to get to. Dead Horse Point is absolutely stunning. When you look at it, it actually looks a little bit like Horseshoe Bend, which we've actually never been to, so I don't know if it's really fair for me to make that comparison, but it definitely has that U shape. It's where everybody wants to go. It's very picturesque. I think there's a lot of postcards made from that angle, and I can see why. We definitely took our fair share of selfies up there and just kind of hanging out on the ledge, looking over and catching the fresh air. It was a really nice area too. People could drive up. There were some people having picnics. There's bathroom areas. Definitely a place where you could burn a good hour if you just wanted somewhere to hang out and relax.
So the last thing we want to talk about and highly recommend is the Sunset Grill that overlooks downtown Moab. And this was our first experience there, and it was absolutely amazing. So the quick backstory that we'll probably butcher
That's
is...
why I avoided it. I didn't want to butcher it.
I know, but you got to at least give a little bit of it. So the guy that owned the house, he was a miner, and he ended up finding uranium in the Utah area.
And he got mega rich.
Yeah, so he ended up being super wealthy, and that's how he bought this house on top of the hill overlooking Moab. And it had one of the best views out there, as well as Chris mentioned, the largest swimming pool in Utah at one point, which isn't there anymore.
And it's really cool to read up on that story before you go up there, because once you're there and you know the history of the whole settlement time and the uranium and all of that, it just makes it cool. The table that we were at had a great view. It was tucked back in like the backyard area right next to what used to be the largest pool in Utah, and we had a really private, quiet area with an absolutely stunning view.
The prices weren't that extravagant. The food was pretty decent, although we had some issues with our steaks being overcooked, but it was still a fun experience, and that did not ruin the night.
Yeah, despite our steaks being overcooked, I would definitely go back again because the atmosphere and the ambiance just makes it. You just can't get that anywhere else.
So thanks for checking out our little version of the Moab area, boondocking, and some of the fun things that we did. We had a blast there. We hope you check it out. If you're in the area, it's definitely worth the visit.
Yeah.
And we'll see you on the next video.
Bye.